are an academic, you grasp the history of this and also the astrophysics of it. I get a real buzz with the Webb telescope, and I get a real buzz looking at Artemis. Is this a new golden era?
Is this a new golden era for mankind? We're potentially going back to the moon, but not just going there. The Artemis program is developed to establish a permanent base on the moon. They want to facilitate humans to actually be there personally for long periods of time. They want to establish essentially an international space station around the moon. They call it the Lunar Gateway, so it will be easier to access the lunar surface in the future. This is completely different from what we saw 50 years ago with Apollo. And also, with Apollo, we've had 12 men go to the moon, but 8 of them have already died. The remaining 4 are all in their late 80s, it's some in their 90s, and we haven't been back since that. It might be very soon that there's no human on Earth alive anymore that's ever been to the moon, and that would be really tragic.
Well, and also in addition to that, and I'm not into the wokey thing and that terrible argument, but there is also, as it were, in passing, talking to a very senior woman who is an astrophysicist. There's a woman director of this project, and NASA are clear and upfront that those next people who go to the moon and maybe ultimately Mars should better reflect the world that we now occupy compared to the world that we occupied in the 60s. Does that matter to you, or is it a token gesture of wokery?
I think it absolutely does matter, because part of what inspired me to do astrophysics was seeing my science teachers as women, as these really successful people who had doctorates, and that wasn't something that was known to me. So having these kind of role models really does inspire younger people to get into those projects. I went to an all-girls school, so it wasn't such a huge problem for me to study a science project. But I know that most people who study science will come from an all-girls school, because in mixed schools they'll be taken made fun of essentially by the boys, because it's more of physics is a boys' subject, really.
Well, speaking as a brilliant and eloquent contra-arguer to that, Maggie, thank you very much indeed. I'm going to ask